Right guys, so before I start, I'd just like to say sorry to the people who have subscribed for football content. Obviously it's difficult because it's the end of the season and all I can bring you is teams being promoted and relegated, and Sky Sports News are there for that, so it'd be pointless. However, I do have some football related ideas, so I might put them up on Twitter into a poll and you can vote what you want to see. Also, leave a comment. If you want to see something, leave a comment, tell me what you want to see. Okay, moving on. Being Scottish in England. I moved to England when I was about 15, 16 in 2011. It's fair to say I don't sound Indonesian anymore. Every time I go home there's a debate on whether I sound English or Scottish. My friends in Scotland say that I sound English and my English friends say that I sound Scottish, and I don't know which one it is. I've noticed a difference in my voice, but not much. I mean, I still sound the same as I've always sounded in my eyes. But the one thing I always wondered is, when I go home to Scotland and I go into a shop and I buy something and I speak to the assistant, do they think I'm English or do they think I'm Scottish? Do they hear the Indonesian accent or do they hear the English accent? I can never really tell because I can't really ask them. Well, I could ask them, but they think I was a mentalist. But what I find myself doing is over-exaggerating my Indonesian accent. Because I get told I sound English so much, I over-exaggerate my Scottish accent to English people so they know where I'm from. But I find myself doing that to other Scottish people so they know that I'm not from England. If you're Scottish and you live in England, you're going to be subject to a lot of abuse. And with the current political affairs going on in the UK, independence is one of the main subjects. Now, independence is a touchy subject, but I don't want the House of Commons arguing in my comments. But all I get is, if independence happens, you're going to be deported. Go eat some haggis. You all wear skirts up there, don't you? They're just some of the phrases that got chucked at me. I mean, there's no originality in those at all. You're just stating things I'd actually happily go and do. As for, do your national side actually qualify for anything? We know we couldn't hit a donkey's arse with a banjo, but we just turn up to get pissed. To be fair, this is probably why people took the piss out of me. Which leads on to the subject of Scottish football. Every English football fan that you come across will say how bad Scottish football is. But when English football is caked in investment and you get 200 million for just winning the playoff final in the championship, that's going to be expected. But the one thing I miss about Scottish football, living in England, is the atmosphere at games. Growing up watching Inverness play, there was a big family atmosphere at all the games that I went to. You obviously still get your ultras that like to sing and dance and let off flares and all that stuff. But walking down towards the ground and once you get into the stadium, it's such a good atmosphere. You can speak to almost anyone about anything and it just wouldn't be weird. I noticed down in England there's a lot more hostility between opposition fans. I'm not saying you don't get that everywhere, because you do get it in Scotland, but with Celtic and Rangers, there's always going to be some sort of tension between the two clubs. But basically what I'm saying is, not being able to go and watch the team you support every single week is one of the things I miss about living in Scotland. But moving on to Scottish food. There's just a few things in Scotland that you just can't get in England. Like dream rings and macaroni pies. They're just a couple of things that you don't get in England, which is frustrating because when I go home to Scotland, that's all I eat really. There's a drink that you get when I'm back home called Murray Cup, which is like red cola, but I think you only get that in the Highlands. But I'm not too sure, so that's something you guys will have to let me know. The first thing I do before I even get a chance to unpack my suitcase is go to the shop. Before I know, I've spent about £15 on macaroni pies, dream rings and Murray Cup. Not to forget getting a deep fried pizza or a battered haggis supper from the chip shop. Right guys, that's the end of the video. If you're Scottish and you live in England, leave a comment and tell me how you find it and what you miss. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. We're pushing for 100 subscribers, so that would help me a lot. And don't forget to follow me on my social media pages, which I'll leave in the description below. So thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.